I wrestled Kevin mainly for 13 months. I told the story about when I come in and I come in out of NWA WCW, and I was coming back home. My home is Fort Worth, Texas. And brother, they George Scott was the booker. Fritz was the owner. Fritz owned the territory. George Scott was the booker. I dropped my bag on the floor, and he dropped the world strap on the top of my bag, and he said, "You're the champ." I said, "I'm the champ." I said, "Brother," I said, he said, "You're the hottest thing I got." I said, "What do you mean? I ain't been on your TV." He said, "But you've been on Atlanta TV, and you've beaten everybody on Atlanta TV, so you're the champ." And I said, "So who was the champ before me?" I mean, I didn't. They said Chris Adams. Well, I said Chris Adams was slapping that co-pilot on a plane and getting deported at that time. But I went to Real Rogers Coliseum in Fort Worth, and that's where I won the strap. George told me to tell everybody I beat him in El Paso or some dadgum place, and I tell everybody I never beat Chris Adams for that belt, just like Ronnie Garvin and the national heavyweight strap. I went to Bass was wrestling him at ringside, and I was at ringside with Bass wrestling him. I picked the belt up, put it on, and walked off, and I was the champ. That was it. And he had to try to take it back. And that's the way it was several different in my career. I'm gonna get a little bit comfortable. The Von Erichs was a complete different kind of wrestlers, because when I started wrestling, David had already died, but all the rest of them were still alive. And I started wrestling Kevin Von Erich, and I wrestled Kevin Von Erich every night for like 13 months. Sometimes it was I had to help him in the ring. I had to. He would be so messed up, drugs or whatever. I don't personally want to get into that unless I have to about that part of it. But everybody knows they was all on drugs and strung out on drugs. And I said in some things that they snorted a whole territory straight up their nose. So with that being said, trying to get the finish with the dudes. The one that sticks out in my mind is at the Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl sold out. It's drizzling rain. It's 45 degrees, and we get there like 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning. And we start going over finishes from the opening match to the main event. Well, then Kev, I'm dropping the belt back to Kev, and brother, we start going over a finish like at noon. And when I go to the ring at 10 o'clock, whatever the time was, the temperature had dropped and it was drizzling rain even harder. The mat was soaking wet, and still ain't got a finish from Fritz or from Kevin. So I knew that I was dropping the belt back to him because I was leaving because I was done. I mean, I was physically done whooping his butt every night. And that's pretty much what you had to do when you was in the ring with the Von Erich. You had to, if they would come back and say, heck of a match, and then but you had to pound them, you had to hit them hard. And I asked Terry Gordy, I said, me and Terry was tight. I said, Terry, how? Because this is after the Freebird Von Erich feud. I said, how do you deal with them? How do you? He said, Bart, just go to the ring and just beat the living hell out of them. And that's what everybody done. And they would come back and say, "Oh man, rematch." And that was pretty. It was pretty much every night, every stinking night that if you had a Von Erich, no matter which one of them it was, except for maybe Mike. Mike wasn't too bad. David was a good. David was the cream of the crop, brother. And I tell, if he'd been alive today, there'd still be a territory in Texas, I think. And that's like I said, that's my opinion. And I don't think for one iota that them boys cared about the business. I don't think back then. I'm talking about back then. They wanted to do their drugs and do their what they've done, and that was it. For them to continue 10 years before TBS become TBS, the superstation, and they were broadcasting everywhere and doing all kinds of stuff. Fritz had a meeting with Channel 11 and Channel 21 and 4 or 5 other stations down there in Texas, and they wanted to syndicate and do and make a superstation. And can you imagine if the superstation had been in Dallas Fort Worth instead of Atlanta? Because they would have. With Fritz, they were in a meeting. They come out of the meeting. Fritz told Rick Manning or one of them to go back in there and tell them no deal. That my sons can't. They're good for the state. Statewide, they're good. Maybe nationwide, they're good. But worldwide, they can't do it. They can't do it. And the state got this running it statewide or nationwide, got them. I mean, got them good. But I'm not. I have more respect for their daddy, and he was like an idol to me, and it was one of my goals to wrestle in that territory, not be the world heavyweight champion, but just go there and be able to wrestle and be at home and be at home and be on top. But when I broke into business, Fritz told me, he said, no, you got to go. You got to go out and you got to make a name for yourself. Then you come back here. And that's the way it was. And that was what I done. I left and went and made a name for myself and come back. And I was world heavyweight champion, so not too bad. And the pay was really good.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.